this. This will be good for Meri. But I never tell Meri what's going on in my heart anymore. It's not actually safe.
It's weird to me because I can see Cody's sad, and he has gotten emotional several times about it, but this is what he chose.
There's so many mixed emotions. It'd be good for Meri to. It's a beginning. I got a bit of a nostalgic heart, and it's a little broken.
So I was rewatching some of those early coronavirus era episodes, because who wouldn't want to relive a time of utter chaos, right? And I caught something interesting. In one interview, Robyn casually mentions that the family had to take extra precautions because someone in the family has health issues. But of course, she never quite specifies who. Funny how she's so vague, right? So who do you think she was hinting at? Cody? One of the wives? Or maybe one of the kids? If it was serious enough to influence their entire approach to the pandemic, why keep it so hush-hush? I mean, it couldn't have been that private, could it? My first thought was that Robyn was taking a subtle dig at Janelle. Remember when they were only offering vaccines to high-risk people, and where I lived, they were literally throwing doses away. I marched right up to the pharmacy and said, "Hey, I'm high risk. Can I get that shot?" It worked out fine, but hey, Janelle might have been high risk too, possibly dealing with prediabetes, or maybe even full-blown diabetes. Who knows? Then there's Truly, who had her own health battles with kidney issues. Let's not forget the kids, like Solomon had RSV at some point. They've all got weakened immune systems from living through the pandemic, the Spanish flu, and cholera. Okay, maybe not that last one, but it sure feels like it. But Robyn? Oh, she's the queen of passive-aggressively suggesting things without ever really saying them outright. You know, just enough to set herself up for a perfect out later. She can always play dumb and act like she never made a claim. Or, if it's convenient, pull a C, "I told you I was just being cautious" card. Every single episode, she does this. It's her way of covering her tracks while making herself look innocent, or even like a victim, when the whole time she's got a carefully calculated excuse for whatever goes wrong. It's honestly impressive how she's turned narcissism into an art form. Seriously, read one book on narcissism, and you'll see, she follows the playbook to a T. It's wild. And Cody? Oh boy, he's been completely outmaneuvered. He used to be the king of narcissism, manipulating everyone around him, making them compete for his affection while discarding them at will. But Robyn, she out-narsed him. She's played the victim so perfectly, using every possible passive-aggressive suggestion to manipulate him. And now, he's the paranoid, manic mess we see today. It's like she's DRV'd him so thoroughly, it's almost impressive. I honestly think she's just waiting for the day when she decides she's had enough of him. At that point, she'll spin a story about how he's the one who's been abusive, all while she plays the perpetual victim. She'll act like she tried to help him, but in reality, she swooped in, wrecked everything, and now has him cornered. After that, she'll toss him aside and use all the hints she dropped about his behavior to claim he was the one who was toxic. I wouldn't be surprised if she uses his mood swings and her sad little sob story about the kids to justify it. Part of me wishes Cody would wake up and see what's happening before it's too late. But honestly, after everything with Garrison, I'm not sure I care anymore. If he wants to suffer through it, let him. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. Here's my grand theory. Cody and Robyn were clearly chatting with a realtor about selling both the McMansion and Coyote Pass long before Meri had her official goodbye moment with Cody and Robyn at the picnic. Why, you ask? Oh, let me break it down for you. First of all, the picnic tables were painted sometime late in the summer, t-shirts and shorts kind of weather. Robyn and Cody casually mentioned that this would be one of the last times they'd be out on the land. Cody even asked Robyn, "So you really think we couldn't afford to keep the land?" And Robyn's charming response was, "We need to be able to afford what we need to afford." Oh, do you, Robyn? And what exactly do you need to afford? Another ridiculous collection of dolls, or maybe a shiny new $2.1 million house? Then, fast forward to the whole picnic breakup moment. If you zoom in, you can spot one of those picnic tables already painted blue. And they're all bundled up in fall clothes, not summer wear, which, fun fact, doesn't exactly scream last summer hurrah. And when Meri flat out asks Cody what his plan for Coyote Pass is, Robyn can't wait to jump in and interrupt, telling Meri that Cody's not in the right headspace to discuss it. Clearly, Robyn wasn't about to let Meri be part of any sales talk, since she was already plotting how to blow the proceeds from the land. Honestly, I wish Meri had just shut Robyn down right there. Something like, "Robyn, I'm asking Cody a question, so if you could just let him speak for himself, that'd be great. Feel free to add your 2 cents after he's done. Sound good? And let's just take a moment to acknowledge Robyn's thing, that little monkey she loves to throw around. It's basically her way of saying, my opinion is unshakable, and there's nothing you can do about it." And somehow, Cody picked it up too. It's honestly a bit unsettling. But wait, hold up, because here comes the rebuttal to this theory that might make your head spin. The tables were originally blue. In fact, in a past season, Meri mentioned that the whole breakup conversation took place 18 months ago. So it's really not that odd that the tables were repainted 18 months to 2 years later. Now, for the late summer timeline, that would be August, right? And the house was listed in early September. Classic case of house hunting season. They were probably already eyeing a new home, maybe even putting in an offer. Seems like a pretty standard timeline for buying a new place, right? So no, I don't think it's a smoking gun, proving that they planned the whole McMansion and Coyote Pass sale almost 2 years ago. They probably just tossed the idea around back then, though. But let's be real for a second. Coyote Pass has never been listed for sale. And even though Cody and Robyn came up with the down payment for their new house and are juggling 2 mortgages, talk about a financial circus, they didn't need to sell Coyote Pass to afford the new house. So I'm not convinced they were just waiting for a big cash out from the land. And besides, they can't exactly sell it without Meri and Janelle being in the loop. So let's not go jumping to conclusions, okay? Parental rights. Who could forget the spectacular moment when Robyn's ex, in his infinite wisdom, handed over his parental rights and let Cody swoop in to adopt his kids, all because they promised to forgive his child support payments? Classic move, right? It's almost too perfect. Now the real question, could Christine ever, in a twist of delicious irony, do the same thing with Truly and David? I mean, imagine the drama. It would honestly be a masterpiece of petty revenge, and I'm here for it. But then again, I don't want to subject the Brown kids to any more emotional baggage than they've already got. So I'll hold off on that fantasy for now. But let's be real here. This doesn't really seem like something Christine would do. She's all about protecting Truly's relationship with Cody, even going so far as to use physical distance to give him an out. It's almost like she's been trying to make it easier for Cody to have an excuse not to see Truly, which, honestly, feels like a calculated move to get some control in a situation where she was constantly at Cody's mercy. And let's not forget that whole coming to town when I say so thing. Classic post-divorce manipulation, especially from someone like Cody. As for Robyn's kids, remember that heart-wrenching scene when they found out about the adoption? It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Those poor kids weren't celebrating. They were devastated. It was honestly one of the most cringeworthy moments I've seen on reality TV. I can't even put it in the same category as, say, Vicky Gunvalson learning about her mom's death, or Taylor Armstrong walking into her house wondering if she was about to be murdered. That's how bad it was. But anyway, Christine watching that and still thinking it's a good idea? Nah, not her style. I'm giving her more credit than that. Obviously, most of the chaos in these kids' lives can be traced back to their father, but let's not forget the mothers also play a role in the utter lack of stability. Cody loves to claim he's got time for all his children, but then we hear the sob stories from the kids, the wives, and even an anthropologist who points out that he doesn't seem to have much of a fatherly connection with his daughters. Interesting. Then there's the whole creepy, awkward conversation Cody has with his daughters about getting married. Apparently, he thinks Tony and Mykelti are rushing into marriage solely for the sake of purity, as if that's not disturbingly fixated. His obsession with this idea is, well, concerning, to say the least. And while Cody's off somewhere obsessing over his own needs, the kids are stepping up and being the parents, because he can't seem to be bothered. We see this most clearly when the wives go on trips, but especially with the daughters' relationships with Logan. It's obvious Logan became their father figure. They literally cry about how Logan never did anything for himself because he was too busy looking after them. How sweet, right? But it's not just Logan who had to pick up the slack. The kids constantly have to stick up for each other in ways no kid should have to. Gwendolyn, for example, has to advocate for her sister's back surgery. Seriously, these kids are taking on more responsibility than their parents. Then there's the moms, who somehow manage to make every one of their kids' accomplishments or struggles all about them. Christine makes it about herself with Tony and Mykelti, and with Truly's hospitalization. Meri's got Leon coming out, and Robyn, she's always making it about her, whether it's about Dayton or Solomon. At least Janelle keeps it somewhat low-key, but even she gets caught up in the drama at times. And let's not forget their complete disregard for responsible family planning. They keep having kids, even though they constantly complain about how difficult it is to afford things like college, but also somehow can't get loans. Meanwhile, they throw massive, unnecessary parties. Priorities, right? Cody, of course, adds to the dysfunction by snapping at the wives and the kids in front of everyone. Remember that tantrum he threw in Hawaii? He was mad about having to eat pork and ended up snapping at one of the boys who was just trying to eat his meal in peace. Classic Cody move. But the absolute worst thing they've done to their kids is create an environment of distrust and insecurity. These kids have had to parent their own parents. They were uprooted without warning, forced to live in one house for months with no education. The older kids were begging to go to school. And let's talk about the Vegas move. The kids were clear. They did not trust their parents. They knew not to get their hopes up about a house because it would probably fall through. The anxiety they've caused these kids is just cruel. The overreactions are next level too. They terrified the kids into thinking the cops were coming for them in Utah, then got mad when they didn't want to go to a protest, because apparently risking jail time is something every child should eagerly sign up for. And then there was the whole fleeing in the middle of the night for safety thing, only to turn around and say, "Oops, just kidding. We're moving to a whole new city and state where you've never lived before, and you'll need to make new friends." Of course, the kids don't trust them. Why would they? Their parents' decisions are always driven by selfish wants and desires, often just to please a completely erratic Cody. And when it came time for the kids' weddings, the parents couldn't even be trusted to show up on time for one of the most important days of their kids' lives. Can you blame them for not trusting anything these adults say or do? Does anyone else find Christine a bit much lately? I don't know why, but I'm starting to think she's a little over the top. Am I off base here? Just to clarify, I'm watching the latest season where she and David are getting ready for their wedding, and honestly, her behavior is just cringy. Like, seriously. I get it though, it's like she's living out her 20s now, you know? She grew up in a super conservative home, and then ended up with Cody, who, let's face it, wasn't exactly the best match. She's never had the chance to do a lot of the normal stuff most of us have, so I guess this is her catching up. I have a feeling she'll mellow out as she gets older. But honestly, if I were her, After years of rejection and heartbreak, always feeling like she was second best or worse, I'd be thrilled to see her finally moving on and finding love. Honestly, she's been way more composed about it than I would have been. Sister Wives would have turned into a full-on Jerry Springer show if it were me. She's just so excited to finally get what she's always wanted, especially after spending so much time in a soul-crushing relationship where she was never good enough. I'm sure she'll calm down with time, but right now, she's living her best life. People forget how much Cody controlled her for so long. I've seen a lot of posts like this about her, and honestly, people should just be happy for her. Remember, Cody was only her second serious relationship in her entire life. Alright, Sister Wives aficionados, gather round. We've got a newbie in the house. My wife and I are working through the highlights of the show, and we're currently stuck in the divorce episodes, because why wouldn't you want to dive into that drama first, right? So in the early seasons, Cody's this charming doofus. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but at least he's not actively terrible, just not great. I thought maybe that would be the case through the Vegas seasons too, though I admittedly didn't watch much of those. Fast forward to season 18, though, and that clueless, slightly lovable guy. Gone. Replaced by a disrespectful jerk with zero redeeming qualities. So here's the burning question. Can anyone point us to a few episodes where we can witness the glorious transformation of Cody from a meh husband to the full-blown, edgelord villain we've come to know and tolerate now? For me, it was the family commitment ceremony photo shoot that really signaled the first crack in the Cody facade. The way he was fake smiling while clearly about to explode in rage. Yeah, that was the moment I thought, oh, so this guy is a sociopath. Thanks for the clarity, Cody. Oh, and let's not forget that delightful little bomb he drops in season 1 when he announces he picked Robyn's wedding gown without consulting the other wives. His utter lack of self-awareness or concern for anyone but himself was just so Cody. There's also that charming little tidbit about him visiting Robyn while Christine was in active labor, because who wouldn't want to pop by and be emotionally supportive to one wife while another is giving birth? Real heartwarming stuff, right? Now we're at Flagstaff, and I'm watching Cody whine because he can't properly mourn the loss of the Vegas homes. And I'm sitting here thinking, dude, you chose this. You can't even pretend to be upset about it. Meanwhile, Robyn's over there sobbing about how hard everything is, and I just want to reach through the screen and give them both a reality check. Can't wait for the moment when Cody unveils the one-house plan. Because, nothing screams family unity like cramming everyone under one roof after all that chaos. Hilarious. The drama of family dynamics in the Brown household. Let's break this down. First of all, yes, Mykelti did live with Robyn at one point, but it wasn't exactly the fairy tale we might hope for. Mykelti was around 12 or 13 when she was sent to live with Robyn, hours away from the rest of the family. Was it because she was really in need of a bonding experience with Robyn? Not so much. Robyn needed someone to help her out, which meant Mykelti was basically drafted into nanny duty. She was a bit of a helper for Robyn's younger kids. Classic Robyn, always has an angle. This all went down before Robyn moved to Leahy, and it seemed like a temporary fix while Mykelti was away from her siblings. Robyn was working at an assisted living home at the time, so having Mykelti around to help with the kids in the household. Pure gold, but to be fair, Mykelti didn't seem to mind it that much. She probably got a nice break from the sibling drama, so there's that. Now, let's fast forward to the moment in Season 10, Episode 2, where Aspen is moving in with Robyn after her lease is up. Robyn's giving us a little speech in the group confessional, acting all concerned, like she's never had one of the adult or teenage children live with her. Apparently, she's worried she'll step on Christine's toes. Really? You're telling me you're suddenly worried about boundaries when we all know your first real experience with the older kids was using them as free labor. Hypocrisy much? So no, you're not dreaming things up. My Keltie did live with Robyn, just not in the way anyone would expect, and definitely not because it was some heartfelt family bonding time. The situation with Aspen is a different beast, but Robyn's concerns, well, let's just say she's had practice in dealing with these kinds of challenges. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.